I believe that the reason God created man was for management.
Really? I have never heard it put that way.
The first thing is to be honest with yourself. You can never have an impact on society if you have not changed yourself.
God will never allow growth where there is no management.
Wow, wow, wow.
So instead of praying for things from God, pray for the management ability.
Everything I tell you is true. Everything I open my mouth and I say is correct because heaven directs me on what to say. Heaven will tell me and I will tell you it will come to pass in front of your eyes. Not behind you, you will see it happening.
God will withhold things from you if you cannot manage them.
When you look at the facts that something around 1 million people perished as a result of the actions of the British and Russian and Nigerian federal governments.
Vis-a-vis what we see in Nigeria, which is truly not, it should not be surprising. Look, what's happening in Nigeria is barbarous. It's horrible. I mean, it's complete madness, yet it's not a priority. The United States unilaterally could do almost anything it needs to do. It would be a long-term effort, but it could be done. And the United States has the capability. All the elements of power, we have those.
So why not?
It's not a priority. That's the problem. We are committed elsewhere in the world. Black West Africa is not a priority.
Anybody who changes his principles depending on whom he is dealing, that is not a man who can lead a nation.
They can't tell me. No way. When the time comes, it's okay. What stupid country is this? So when you see you try somebody's secret, when you like, you try secret. When you like, it's in public. What stupid country is that? What stupid country is that, I ask you? When you like, you try in secret. When you like, you try in private. They are killing my people. 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 After killing my people, you tell me what to tell in secret? The person is mad. Completely mad. Tell Buhari, that's what I said. That he is mad. He cannot tell me. He cannot tell me. He's a madman. There's a contempt of court proceedings here. Contempt of court. They don't obey court order. They don't obey court order. You're telling me secret prayer. Is the person mad?
I, Nnamdi Kanu, will sacrifice anything sacrificable to make sure that Biafra comes.
We hereby declare no election, no 2023 general election in Biafra land. This no election in Biafra land has been activated. We are going to make it a task that must be done by every Biafran. All measures will be put in place to make sure the adequate civil disobedience is implemented to stop the election in Biafra land.
the meaning of discovery? It means to bring to light something that is buried on the ground. If you can accept that, then you know that Biafra is coming. There is nothing man can do about it. It's too late. Way, way too late. The countdown has begun.
Hello, greetings to you all. Good to have you again on this live broadcast. Thank you all for joining wherever you're watching from. My name is Kelechi Ambrose, and I want to welcome you to Biafra Global Network. And as usual, we give Chukwokike the glory and praise for giving us another opportunity and for giving us another opportunity to serve, especially in the aspect of getting to know that we are actually working towards our freedom. And I want you to understand that as we work towards our freedom, we are setting. Please let me call you back, please. I'll call you back, please. Yes. So sorry about that, please, everyone. Sorry about that. We thank him for giving us the grace, for the ability and the opportunity. And I believe that you are here because Chukwokike has made it possible that you also can be part of those who are going to build this nation of Biafra, and to see that we have a fine nation that is the best all over the nations of the world to do what we have to do. And at the same time, to see that we actually get the best and become a cynosure of truth to the world. And I want you to remember that the reason why God is giving us this opportunity to be part of it is because he wants us to be, instruments of peace and instruments of truth. Because the only way the world can be set free or made free is when truth prevails. And that is the concept of why God has made you a product of this time. And you have to understand that where God is placing you and calling you to actually serve is actually for you to bring down his glory and for him to have his glory in your actions. And the only glory that is recommended and that is acknowledged and that must stand is the glory that goes to God alone and Chukwokike alone. And that is why you are an instrument designed to bring that kind of glory to Chukwokike. And remember, your actions, your words, your reactions and your inactions and everything that you are doing have a way, it's not having a way, but totally brings glory to God. So even when you are going in the wrong way, God will still receive his glory, but you are going to be condemned. When you're going the right way, God will receive his glory and you will be rewarded positively. And of course, the reward comes negative or positive. If you are on the wrong side, you get the reward negatively. If you are on the right side, you get the reward positively. I want to welcome you all joining, and I want to thank you, my brothers, my sisters, wherever you're watching from, the people from the Oduduwa the people from the Hausa nation, the people from the Middle Belt, where I don't know the different nations in the Middle Belt, and the nations all over the world, the lovers of freedom, wherever you are. And I know that this broadcast goes far and wide into the nooks and crannies of the nations of the world. And some people do download and then share around for people to watch and to observe. Today, I'll be talking to us the only reason why Biafra has been ordained to come. And this is very critical because in this broadcast today, I'm going to be making some facts here, very clear facts. And you have to understand that we have enemies all around us, including in our midst. In our midst, we have enemies all around us. We have enemies, including in autopilot, we have enemies. And you have to understand that. And because God has ordained Simon Ekpa through the ordinance that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu placed on him to carry out the responsibility, just like the attacks that came against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the same kind of attacks have been unleashed on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And we have to understand this, and that is why we have to always put him in our prayers. That's why we have to always know that we have to support him in any way to see that these people will not succeed. These evil hands will not succeed, and the people who are around him, who have decided to make themselves enemies to the people of Biafra, will not succeed. It's very, very crucial. It's very, very important. And I'm going to be going into details in these facts. There are so many things I need to talk about. There are so many revelations I need to make about some enemies within, but I'm not going to be talking about them for now, because I know that we're looking forward to the time where we're going to make that real. But I want to first, before we go on into the main broadcast today, and to talk about why God has ordained, the reason why this has been ordained to come, I want to make you understand your role in this whole movement of freedom. Now, first, I want you to understand that you are the one God is looking on to see that Biafra is restored. And I want you to have that in your mind. That when you find yourself in a particular situation where you are part of it, just know that there's an onus upon you by the ordinance of the spiritual that you partake of the activities positively to see that that question or that action or that situation is restored. Now, you have to understand that God didn't put you in this generation to occupy space. No, none of us are put in this generation to occupy space. Every one of us are put in this generation to see to it that we fulfill the will of God in our generation, in this time. God didn't put you in the generation of Abraham or Isaac or Jacob because God knew that you are not needed in that generation. God didn't put you in the generation of Michael Opara or Nnamdi Azikiwe and other people. God never put you in those generations because God knows that you are not needed in that generation. God brought you into this generation because God understands that you have what it takes. He has put in you the capacity and the facts and the instruments to restore and to carry out his activity to make sure that the ordinance and his will be done in this generation. And let me tell you, finding yourself in this generation means it doesn't matter where you were born. It doesn't matter whether you were born with a silver spoon or golden spoon or with a wooden spoon or with no spoon at all. It doesn't matter your background. We have lots of stories you can see in the scripture from our great-grandfathers, our ancestors, from the scripture, the Bible, of course, from our ancestors. You can see in that narrative that most of them who were chosen to do particular things according to God's purpose, when actually people who didn't come, from the places where people expected them to come. Jesus himself was born to a woman who is nobody. Jesus was born in Bethlehem, and in fact, God made it so very significant that he made sure that Jesus was born in a manger. And of course, the manger was in the stable where horses were being fed. So Jesus himself became a cynosure that it doesn't matter where you are born, your status, wherever, whatever, whoever thinks that you have a position, whoever thinks that you are anybody, it doesn't care what people think about you. The important thing is that you have been designed and created to be in this time, to be part of those who will be part of the progress. I'm going to be going through the messages, I'm going to read through your messages later, but I would just want to go, to educate and to bring some information to us here before now I go on your messages, because I'm going to be looking at your messages today. I'm going to be reading out today. I have no guests today, so I will have enough time to do that. Now, you have to understand that Jesus himself, the Son of the living God, who is God, of course, of the Trinity, the second person in the Trinity, and of course, Jesus himself, or Yehoshua Mashiach, Yehoshua, himself, Yeshua himself, actually was born in a manger. He had no significant background that should make a noise, that should make sound, or that should be influential to the people. The people of Israel needed somebody who is going to be the Messiah, who's going to come from the Messiah, who is going to come from the lineage of kings. But they heard that Jesus, or this Messiah, is going to come from the lions of David. But they never knew that he was going to come from the lowest ebb or from the lowest point of David. They thought he was going to come from the king, the house of the kings, and he's going to come from some places like that, and to come all over and suddenly, and of course with that connection, with that influence and all of that, and then liberate Israel. But they never knew that God's ways is different from man's ways. So Jesus came low. He became very low. He came in that way. He became poor that you might be rich. Now, the same way also, you are here, I am here, and it doesn't matter my background, it doesn't matter your background. We are called to restore Biafra. That is why God put you and I in this generation. God never put you and I in this generation to just occupy space. No, because the space you are occupying right now in this earth is a very expensive space. Somebody else have their space being maximized by their actions and their input to life. And very much important, you have to note that when you are put in a particular course that affects the life of humanity or the lives of people, it is critical to understand that you are very, very special and very, very important. So the reason why God brings you in this time and this purpose is that you are significant to the lives of people here, to the deliverance of so many people all over the nations of the world, to those whose fathers were sold into the Americas, into the Caribbeans, into the European nations and all of that, who were sold as slaves, taken from our midst and sold as slaves. And now God wants to use you to liberate all the brown-colored people all over the nations of the world, because we're not black. Of course, you look at my complexion. I'm not black. I'm brown. You might be fairer than me, but it's in the family of brown. We're not blacks. So when they call us blacks, we know what they mean. They call themselves white to look as if they are pure, and then black to mean that we are not pure. So we understand that. So we want to go with the real narrative. We are brown colored. So let's go with the real narrative. Now, the reason why God brings you now and makes you brown and brings you into the African context or into Biafra is because, and of course into even Oduduwa nation and other nations, is because he wants to put in you, and that's why you are hearing this message right now. God wants to put in you that spirit that will help to liberate even those people who were sold into the Americas, into the Caribbean, into all this utmost part of the earth, whose parents were slaves from Africa and taken over there. And now they are now suffering over in America. They are given second-class status. They are treated differently. They are not enjoying their times. They are not able to link to, to their foundation or their source. God has put us here now to liberate the people. Now, that is why we must understand the very criticalness why Biafra is significant. First, before I begin to talk about the real reason, the main reason, the only reason why Biafra has been ordained to come, I want to take you through this path so that you can understand this. Because today's program is evident history, and of course we'll have to look at history and come to the time which we are. Why are you here today? Why am I here today? We will have to look at it, link it to the past, to the present, and the future. So we are looking at this things critically. Now, Biafra is significant in the sense that it has been designed by God to bring light. Remember, it is not coincidence that Biafra is the rising sun. I want us to understand this. It is not coincidental. It's not a coincidence. Biafra is the rising sun because God has put it so, because it's going to illuminate the world. It's going to cause the world to see the light. It's going to, today now, for instance, you see what is happening in Nigeria, the contraption called Nigeria. You see the terrible things going on in that contraption. You see the evils going on in that contraption. So many things going wrong and so many evils going wrong. And God now says that I have made you see these evils. I want to set you aside so that through these evils, you will know what to do right. Because whenever you see evil, then you know that there's something opposite about it. Which means that when you see a kind of level of evil, there's an opposite side to it, which is not evil. And that is what God has made us to understand and to see. So God makes us and puts us in this. And so we are able to go through this and see the evil that Nigeria melted on us. And we have seen the level of evil that Nigeria has put us through. And God says, now I have given you experience of evil, just like God did with the children of Israel in Egypt. Our forefathers and our ancestors, they were in Egypt, and God made them see evil through Pharaoh. Pharaoh meted evil on them and dealt with them so much so that they cried and their cry reached heaven. And so the evil against Israel was so obvious and so conspicuous and so humiliating, so disastrous and psychologically depreciating and of course debilitating to the actions or to the lives of the people, that they cried so much, and God heard their cries. And then God delivered them and made them understand that this evil, I'm going to bring you to the opposite side of it, which is the right side. Now, the same way also God makes us see the evil in Nigeria, just like our ancestors in Egypt, when they saw it, today they have their land. God also makes us to go into this level and makes us to see this situation in Nigeria. And God wants to bring us into a better place and telling us that we are going to be an example of bringing something opposite of Nigeria to the world. That means we have been designed as Biafrans to do the opposite that is found in Nigeria. And so you must understand where I'm going right now. I'm going to take you straight to where I'm going. Now, we know what Nigeria represents. Nigeria represents death. Nigeria represents starvation. Now, let me give you an instance. Today, in Imo State, we hear the news that the man called Hope, who is the hopeless person who calls himself Hope, Uzodimma, who is actually Uzodinjo, the bad guy who was given the role to play as governor in Imo State, put there by the Fulanis. We hear that what he now does, what they are now doing, and of course it's not restricted to Imo State alone, it's all around. That is, they have their strategies all around to direct the people and all of that. What they are doing now is that they tell you to come around, they give you 10,000 naira, they give you a bag of rice or something, and then they take your PVC from you and they take your details. And then those details are imputed into their system, which means that you have voted before the day of the votes. So they are accumulating the results and they're accumulating the votes before the time. So they give people 10,000 naira, which I don't know how 10,000 naira is significant anyways. You know, they give 10,000 naira in 2 days, it's gone. It's in 2 days, or let's say you are too micy, you know, in 5 days or 10 days, 10,000 is gone. Because you can't even feed yourself for, even you alone, for 1 week. 10,000 naira is not enough, not to talk about your family. And so they give them 10,000 naira, they give them a bag of rice, and then they take their PVCs and they take their details, you know, and impute them. And then they, of course, they thumbprint on their behalf based on the fact that they have been able to take their PVCs and get their details. And all of these things are imputed, ready for the day they're going to accumulate everything and put it forth. And they said the votes have been carried out and all of that. And so they are using it as a means of trying to discredit the fact that we have said that there will be no election in Biafra land. So they're collating the information now, trying to make it look like they are voting now, thumbprinting. So on that day, they'll say people actually came out to vote. In spite of the sit at home, people secretly voted. People came out to vote. They want to give that impression, and they will bring out the ballot papers and show that people voted. They thumbprinted. Look at their details. Look at the the machine. You see their details here. So they voted. So who is saying there's no vote? They want to discredit the no election in Biafra land. But we are telling them that they have been busted and their plans have been opened. And according to the order that we have given, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, of course, have said it, and we are also reiterating it, and we are saying it to the whole world that there will be no election in Biafra land, and we are going to fight for our freedom. The reason why we say this is that God has ordained us to bring about a nation that is opposite Nigeria, because God wants to restore the nations of the earth. The purpose of God for humanity is going to illuminate from the east, and Biafra is that nation that will bring about the purpose of humanity until the Messiah himself comes and restores the nations of the world. Biafra has been chosen as the place where these things are going to happen. Now that brings me to the point of how important your role is in this whole thing. Now, you have to understand that if God will bring about Biafra and make Biafra a cynosure to the world of his glory and of whom he is and what he wants, to actually be a sample of what he wants the world to be like, or to look like, or to actually act on, he definitely will do it through people. He cannot do it just by the name Biafra, because Biafra itself represents a people. So God first wants to give us our identity, because when we have our identity, we have our sovereignty under God. And so as soon as we have our sovereignty under God, then we must also understand that the sovereignty under God comes with an identity of God. Now, I want you to get these facts right, because I'm taking you somewhere. The sovereignty of Biafra Nation comes with an identity. And if Chukwu Okike is the source of that sovereignty, then it means that our identity must be of him. That means everything that we portray must be of Chukwu Okike. That means the identity of Biafra must reflect who Chukwu Okike represents. I'll take it further. Which means that if we have to define what Chukwu Okike represents, then we have to define it in the context of our sovereignty. And to reflect or to pronounce or to make obvious or to make conspicuous our sovereignty, we have to now look at the people and how they express this sovereignty. Because the sovereignty of a nation is only determined, or is only acknowledged, or is only made obvious by the facts of the operations, or the modus, or the attitude, or the character, or the actions of the people. So which means that if we want to portray Biafra as a nation sovereign under God, and of course reflecting the image of God, then it simply means that we would be the cynosure or the representation of that sovereignty and that identity in God. So that means that we now would become the evident reflection of God under the sovereign nation of Biafra, which we say Chukwu Okike is sponsoring or is bringing about by the sole knowledge of his will and purpose alone. So the only reason why Biafra has been ordained to come is because God wants to receive the glory. But how will God receive the glory? He will receive the glory by our reflecting him in what we pursue, so that we can have a contrary something opposite, from Nigeria. Now, I've told you what Nigeria represents. Nigeria represents everything evil. Nigeria represents everything evil. I've given you a sample from what Hope Danger and Hopeless Danger and others are doing, and all of that. But definitely, for all of these things to happen, then we have to look at the people. Now, that brings me to the point of talking about us. Now, I told you initially when I began that the reason why Biafra would come is because God has ordained it, and nobody can stop it. But God uses people to bring about his things in the physical world, because they are the ones who are going to enjoy the benefits of what he wants to do. When you hear thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven, Jesus needed to come down and become man so that God's will be done here on earth as it is in heaven. So if God didn't need humanity or didn't need anybody, he wouldn't have come like man to restore us, and he wouldn't have given us the mandate to push these things to the nations of the world and preach the gospel. And what is the gospel? The gospel of freedom. It's not the gospel of religion. No, the gospel of freedom. If the Son shall make you free, you shall be free indeed. Freedom is the gospel which Christ preaches. So when you believe in Christ, you believe in freedom. That's what it means. And freedom is an epitome of the reflection of the life of God. That is why you are told to live a holy life or live like Christ. That is why they are named Christians in Antioch. So you must understand what freedom means. Freedom means that you are living a life that is connected to the freedom person or the freedom fighter, who is Christ. That life reflects the life of God, which he wants you to live in, so that there will be sanity in the world. Now, let me tell you why the God commands and gives the 10 commandments and gives other commandments. It is not because God wants to regulate or stop you from doing some stuff that you feel like doing. No. But because God knows that some of your actions or some of my actions might affect somebody else's peace, or affect affect somebody else contrarily to how we want things to be done to us. God knows that the only way you can live at peace with somebody else is for you to do to them likewise as you would want to be done to you. That is why Jesus came up with the golden rule, which represents the concept of salvation. Whatsoever you would that men should do to you, do ye even so to them. So if you don't want your daughter to be impregnated by somebody else, don't go and impregnate somebody else's daughter. If you don't want your daughter to be raped, don't go and rape somebody else's daughter. If you don't want your money to be stolen, don't steal somebody else's money. If you don't want your child to be killed or you to be killed, don't kill somebody else. That is the literal and the grassroots definition of what salvation is all about. Because God is just saying that because you don't want this to be done to you, don't do it to somebody else. So whatever you think that you don't want to be done to you, you will not want it to be done to you, to someone else, but through you. That's what God is just saying. So the liberation of the soul comes with that mindset. And then the liberation, physical liberation, comes with that peaceful habitation or living in peace with one another, because we have decided on the level of our minds that we are not going to do to these people what we don't want them to do to us. So that now gives us a natural ability to live together in agreements, according to how it is stated in scripture. That can two walk together except they be agreed. That means there was an initial agreement before now they live together. So now let's go further, which means that your action and inaction is important in the program of God, right? Now let's go further in this. Now, some of you might understand and have seen lots of things happening recently, and which, of course, some of them are very significant and very, very important to deal with. Now, you must understand this. That's the only purpose and the only reason why you must stand for the truth is to help leadership to work and achieve purpose. Mazi Nnamdi have been ordained and have been given the responsibility by Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to carry on until he comes out. But before we talk about Mazi Nnamdi, we have to look at Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. What does Mazi Nnamdi Kanu represent? There's a particular video I'm supposed to play, the last video that he made when he talked about, penetration and obstacles and all of that. And of course, you have heard Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said several times that there's no way you can do anything, to stop Biafra from coming, because it's been ordained. In fact, he said at a point that if not that God has ordained it and God has called him into this mandate, he would just leave everybody and he would just walk away. I'm going to play that particular video of his voice when he was demanding for 100 men. Then I'm going to tell you the level of his heart and soul. And Mazi Nnamdi Kanu consistently said he wants us to be consistent on the path of truth. He said to us that even if he offends, we should deal with him. He said any day he renounces Biafra or goes against Biafra, we should even kill him. He went as far as telling you that Biafra is beyond him, beyond one person, because it's a nation, which means that everybody's opinion and everybody is important in this. Now, let me play that video of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu when he was speaking out his heart in pain, and then I'll continue the narrative from there. Thank you so much for joining and being consistent in here. My name is Kelechi Ambrose, and this is Biafra Global Network Evident History Program, but we're using it as a basis of narrating the facts of your responsibility and my responsibility in this whole thing of freedom. Remember, I told you when I began, the cause of freedom does not exempt you. As much as Chukwu Okike brought you into this generation, it simply means that there's something you need to do to make sure that the truth is established. And these are the facts I want to point out to you now. And that is also the fact that I'm going to point out to you my stance in the movement for freedom, and to tell you that according to the ordinance of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, which he has proclaimed and he has mandated Simon Ekpa to proclaim, that I will always stand for the truth and nothing but the truth. When I see lies, I will say them. When I see deceit, I will say them. When I see something wrong, I will say them. I don't mind whose ass is God. I don't mind who it affects. If it affects me too, I will go for it. If it affects me, let me go for it. If it affects my mother, my brothers, my sisters, if it affects anybody that's my friend and all of that, let that person go for it, because the truth is what I have been called to preach. And that is what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu spiritually ordained Mazi Simon Ekpa to preach, which he also transferred to us to preach. And that is what I'm going to preach. So when I see the truth, I'll lay it out, and I don't care who is against the truth. And so I want you also to understand and have this kind of mindset that God brought you in here also to watch out, to make sure that we have what is opposite of Nigeria and not what is of Nigeria. And that is what we have to do. But watch this video first. Let's watch it together. Here it goes.
Because what I am saying on Abumanyamini, our people are lame. They are weak. I am struggling to count how many men there are in Biafra land. There are no more men left. Weak, docile, and imbecilic. Weak. I don't know how we can take such people to war. I don't know how we can take men who are not men into battle and win. I am ashamed. Very, very ashamed. Nonetheless, we must preach this very gospel because man did not ask us to come. Chukwu Abiyama in heaven mandated that we should come. If not, that I was called to do this very work, I will not speak to any of you anymore.
Therefore, we must preach this gospel because man did not ordain us to come. Chukwu Okike ordained us to come. If not that I have been mandated by heaven, which means if not that I've been mandated by truth, because whenever you talk about God, you talk about truth. If not that I've been mandated by God to speak this, then it simply means I will not talk to any of you. But because I've been mandated, I must pursue this cause of truth. Now, most of you might understand or would have understood why Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was making this statement, because the people around him were actually selling the truth for lies. They were going in line with Nigeria. They were doing the things Nigeria likes. They were going for bribery. They were going for corruption. They were going for self. They were doing everything contrary to the truth. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said, "Not man that ordained me, but heaven mandated us to preach the gospel. And of course, when you talk about heaven, you are referring to Chukwokike. And when you talk about Chukwokike, you are referring to truth, because his name is truth. Jesus said in John 17:17 that sanctify them by thy truth. Thy word is truth. Sanctify them by thy truth. Thy word is truth. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu also spoke about the truth. Simon Ekpa have been talking about the truth, reflecting the issue of a fall, which is truth and all of that. Now, we also must understand that the application of truth is determined by our action and inactions, which means it is not about speaking the truth just by saying the truth, just by saying that we are autopilot, we are transparent, we are truthful, we are whiter than snow. No, it is by meeting up with the challenges and being able to still stand and say the truth. So when you find yourself in a situation where you have been confronted with lies, when you find yourself, when you see something going wrong and you shield it, and because of sentiment, you don't want to talk about it, you have become an agent of lies. And at that point in time, the spirit of Biafra will begin to come against you, because the spirit of Biafra is the spirit of Chukwokike, who has created the universe and ordained that Biafra should come. So you must understand that truth is basic in the sense that it reflects, it's only reflected by your actions, especially when God makes you see evil. Now, I want to talk to every one of us, because you must understand the difference between focus and distraction. Some of us don't understand what distraction is. Some of us don't understand what focus is. Some of us feel that when you see something wrong in the midst of things going wrong, and you begin to speak about the things going wrong, it is distraction. No, that's not distraction. You are getting it wrong. Because focus makes you identify those factors that will... Now, let me tell you something. Let me give you this fact. You see, to get a different nation that is different from Nigeria, you must understand that you are not going to get it when you get into Biafra. You are only going to get it in the process of getting into Biafra. In the process of getting into Biafra, you will see the expression of Nigeria character in so many people who are part of this thing. And when you see these characters and actions of Nigeria coming in, it simply means that they are running with you to come into Biafra. Now, if you don't put a stop at that point in time before you enter Biafra, they will enter into Biafra with you, with that spirit of that same Nigeria you're running away from, and then they would have now grown wings and become a monster or monsters that would now hold on to sensitive position, and it will now backfire on you tomorrow. Now, let me tell you, when you see an evil where you see that there's favoritism, for instance, let me give you this instance. Maybe I am involved in something going wrong. Somebody else is involved in something going wrong. And because you feel that maybe you know me, you're my friend. You don't want to see evil. You don't want to talk about evil about me. But when it is the other person, he's not your friend. So and you don't think you have interest in him. So I'm not going to talk about it. That person must be brought down. That person must be taken away. But me, I'm your friend. You are maybe gaining from me, or somehow we are having a benefit. We're having mutual benefits and all of that. And you don't want to talk about the same thing I'm doing wrong that person did wrong, that you castigated, and even chased that person, and you still keep me and to be your friend. Let me tell you what's going to happen. By the time we get to Biafra, I'm going to become a monster, because I would have now succeeded in putting my tentacles on all aspects of Biafra. And then one time will come, because it will backfire. Whatsoever you would that men should do to you, do evil so to them. And you have to understand the concept of 360 degrees of things happening all over the nations of the world and life. One time in Biafra Nation, you will come to a point where you need justice. And you are in trouble. You needed justice. But because of connection, and because you sponsored injustice, it has taken root in Biafra. You will now become a victim, where now, because of connection, they will work against you, and you will get into the dungeon, or you'll be eliminated, or you'll be taken away. Now, that means that it has backfired. Now, if you think that you can romance evil, and when somebody wants to speak about evil, and all you say is, don't get distracted, you are distracting us. You are doing this against us and all of that. Let me just give this instance, because I have to be practical here. Now, mind you, I am very, 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 very in support of everything Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has instituted and has passed on to Simon Ekpa. I am very, very, very strongly behind Mazi Simon Ekpa. For those of you who lately have been sending messages and calling me and saying so many things. I know that there's a particular woman, elderly woman. She has not been coming to my broadcast recently because I decided not to talk to her and not to listen to respond to her, because she really shocked me. The moment Mazi Nnamdi came online and read some, made the broadcast and then called our names out, the next thing she did, she started bombarding my WhatsApp, my two WhatsApp, platforms and all of that, saying so many things, telling me how I have become so, I'm so heady, I'm so stubborn, I don't like listening, that they can never be for me, that if I come against Simon Ekpa and all of that. And I wonder how we are coming against Simon Ekpa. But anyways, that is not the story for today. We're just going to keep that for next time. And she was saying so many things to me, and she kept saying from that night to the next day, that night I sent her a message. I said, I'm shocked you are saying these things when you don't even know the facts. Why are you sending these kinds of messages? I'm shocked at you. She didn't care. She was sending me more messages. She was bombarding me. She said that I'm going around with old men, old people who don't have anything to offer. I'm getting myself soiled, and I'm getting myself, into the hands of playing this. She started insulting each of those men, and saying that this one is this, that one is this, and all of that. People she doesn't know. She was just insulting people and saying so many things. And that was that I decided in my mind, I will never, I will never say anything again, to her. I'll never comment. The reason why, because I added up so many things, in this fact regarding the whole thing, especially when she was sending all those messages to me. And I related it to one issue that we had the other time, which she, she contacted me. She wanted me to actually do some stuff for her, in my location, and get a particular, because they want to do a traveling and all of that. According to her, they will be traveling. So she wants me to find out this information, for them, and to get this. I registered, used my money, went to agents, registered in 2 agents at 2 far locations after she has given what she wants and all of that. And I made sure I chartered vehicle that took us around with the agents, for 2 days, taking us around on my own pocket. Not because I have it, but because I just needed to do this for her, because, when you are doing something for your people and all of that. And, I did all of that, and I got places. She was so excited. Wow, these great things and great places. Wow, this is great. And then she said she's going to send it to her, daughters to make a decision, not knowing that she already was angry at something. I don't know what she was angry about, because she told me that this is the particular thing you want, but I don't want, this is the particular thing I want, but I don't want something expensive. And of course, I did that. In fact, at a point, my broadcast couldn't hold for that 2 days because it was delayed based on the fact that I was on transit because of her, because I thought I was going to run down to, I think that should be in December, beginning of December. Because I thought I was going to run down and all of that, but I couldn't meet up, And then, after everything, I did all of those runnings around and all of that. The next thing I heard is that, anyways, my daughters have said that they would let's leave it until when we come to that area in February. That's this year, February. And we are going to sort that out. I said, all right, no problems. I didn't care about how much, because I know how much it means, how much it is in Naira. If you want to convert registering with agents, and then not about 2 agents in 2 different locations because of what you are looking for, each of those agents, you are paying not less than 10,000 Naira by connecting it to Naira and all of that. So you're paying 10,000. Then you talk about even chartering vehicle to carry agents with you, and then you go around to do that stuff. But to my shock and surprise, that's December. Even her daughter was in the place. The place you said is going to be in February. Even her daughter was in the place. And when I came to know it, she was the one who even told me. I was shocked. I was surprised. Now, it was so surprising to me that I just wanted to let it go. But something now happened recently, when we, about 3 weeks ago and all of that here, when there are some issues, of course, I don't want to talk about that, And then and then she now called me. Somehow we now started relating. And she was now going back to that issue of telling me that the reason why she refused to take my decision on that matter is because she was angry with me. She told me what she wanted. I didn't take what she wanted. I went to get what I wanted for myself. I was shocked. This is somebody who told me, I want something of lower bill, but let it be, something in this kind of location. And I got that kind of location. Very wonderful place. And she looked at it. She said, wow, great. But this place might be very expensive. I said, no, it's not too expensive. It's something that you can afford. So when you're ready, I connect you to and you do what you have to do, and all of that. Suddenly, now telling me that I went to get, never told me all of these things. But now coming to tell me. Now I'm making this narration for you to understand how our people reason. Now, when Simon Ekpa made that broadcast, she started sending me so many messages that I decided, till today, I never replied her again. After I sent her messages, I'm shocked at her attitude. Somebody who is mature, I expect you to wait and get the facts. Even when the person, when she listened to Mazi, when she listened to, I don't know why Isaac is saying I'm distracting Simon Ekpa. What is wrong with you? You people don't have sense. You're telling me I'm distracting. How am I distracting anybody? For God's sake, I'm making an explanation here. You won't listen. That's the problem with you people. You are too emotional. You are carried away with so many things. You're telling me I'm distracting. How am I distracted? Don't you hear me here telling you the fact that we are strongly behind Simon Ekpa, or you're telling me that what I'm saying doesn't make sense to you? Please don't tell me I'm distracting anybody. I'm not distracting anybody. We're strongly behind him. That doesn't mean that when we see evil, we should not talk about them. So I'm not coming here to even talk about the evils, but I'm trying to make you understand that as a person who has been called in Biafra, you must observe around you, because if you don't take down the things that are wrong, if you get into Biafra, you are going to get those things in you and they will backfire. So you must understand the difference between distraction. That's what I'm explaining to you. Sam, you're coming to tell me here now that I'm distracted. How am I distracting? Stop saying what you don't know. Stop talking about currency. Have I mentioned currency? Did I mention anything about currency? I'm giving you facts. Listen to the message. Stop being very distracting people here. Understand and use your brain. Use your brain when people are talking. Don't come and talk nonsense when you don't understand what is happening. Don't come and make statements that are not, that doesn't make sense, and all of that. So I'm making a factual point. I'm giving you reference. Listen to the message. Get the message and understand what we are saying. Don't come and talk about, and all of that. And all of that. I need to block you because you are not a human being. You don't have sense. If you have sense, you will know that what I'm doing is trying to teach people and to understand that we all have a role to play. Now, as I told you, as I was saying now, she started bombarding me. And even after listening to Pastor Livingstone's explanation, she still was bombarding me. But anyways, that's by the way. Anyways, now what I'm trying to say here is this. I want us to understand that everything that happens along the line of going to your freedom is very, very important. And God wants you also to watch it. Watch it. That was why God destroyed the whole people in the wilderness when they came out of Egypt and only allowed their children to get in. You know why? They were allowing the spirits that came with them from Biafra and from Egypt into the place of into the land of freedom. And God said, no, I'm taking you to the promised land, that land that flows with milk and honey. So everything that you have known in Egypt, keep it in Egypt. Get into the promise. Very, very important. Very, very important. Get to the promise. Now, I want you to understand that we all have a stake. Now, I want you to say, I understand this also, that what I'm trying to say here is this. When you find something going wrong, please don't shield it. If you have to pass it to the authorities, if you have to send it to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, make him understand, make him know that this is happening. By that time, you have saved yourself from the coal of fire that would come when you shield evil. When you shield evil, you're going to be in trouble. When you find evil, say it. You might not come and start publicizing it. Take it to the right quarters. This is what I have found. Then let the leadership deal with it. And then at that point, from there, God knows how he's going to deal with the whole matters. But you must understand, oh my God, Sonny. He said, Mr. Kelechi, you have to be very careful of people surrounding you. No, nobody evil is surrounding me. The people I have around me are people who, who have fine mind and they want the best for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And whatever the issue is, this, we are very, very interested in getting, the best. We are I'm telling you 200%. And I said it the other time, I was even laying a particular course. I think I was laying courses. I think courses on a WhatsApp group yesterday, Now let me tell you, if you don't say it, if you see evil and you don't say it, the spirit of Biafra will come for you. That's the truth. We're not saying you should go and start destroying things. No, you take it to the appropriate quarters. And that is what we did. We took it to the appropriate quarters when we found wrong. I raised alarm, called the team, the think tank, very crucial team, in Biafra. And we now called Mazi Nnamdi and we talked with him and said, this is what is happening, which he now handled, you know. And of course, you know, of course, man is not above mistakes. Sometimes we make mistakes, but of course, we thank God that he has handled it right now. And we know that he will still handle it and keep handling it until he's a wise man. We know that he's a wise man, so he knows what to do at this point in time. Now, let me tell you something. I laid curses yesterday, you know, in a WhatsApp group because one of us who was part of the stuff went there to try to demonize and blackmail the people who were in that group. And I came up and I said so many things. And I said something that curse. I said, if I've come into Biafra struggle to bring down anybody, to bring down Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, bring down, to destroy the legacy of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, or to even bring down anybody at all, or to even envy anybody, or to even try to take anybody's position, and not what Chukwu Okike has ordained me to do by evidence, you know, then let me not succeed in this life. Whatever I'm looking for, let me not succeed in my generation. Anything I'm looking for, I will not get it in this life. And I will die frustrated. And of course, it will not only stop in my generation, to continue in my generations to come. But anybody who has come into this thing and who have come in evil, that curse I place upon myself, if that's what they've come for, it will go back on them. So that should tell you, understand that I came here for a clean job. I would not see evil and keep my mouth shut. I will say it, because that is why God has placed you and I to be here. Because the Biafra God is giving us is a Biafra different from Nigeria. You must understand that. The Biafra God is giving you and I is a Biafra different from Nigeria. Evil must be exposed. Mazi, you are a man full of wisdom. God will not allow the curse stand in your generations. He said, Mary, he said, because I am, that is if I am pure, God will not allow it stand. But if I'm not pure, God will allow it stand. So I'm saying it again. I'm saying it here again. And of course, you were there when I said it yesterday in that group. Now, you see, we have so many things going on. We have so many things going on. As I talk to you, do you know that they are tracking my phone? They are trying to locate me. They send people to want to get me, talk to me, to meet people somewhere for business. Blah, blah. They want to track me. And I know those involved and I know who they're working for. I know them. But I'm not going to, those are not the issues here, because I know nobody can kill me, because I stand for the truth. Nobody can destroy me. God has sent me. He's not going to send me to go and die. He's sending me to proclaim the truth. And if the time does not come for me, you know, to die, I won't die. You understand it? So I want you to understand that everything we do, you should understand that the only person piloting this affair and the only person who is going to bring Biafra is not you and I. It is Chukwu Okike. The only person, the only reason why Biafra will be restored is God, not you and I. But God wants us to do the right thing. God uses us. The will of God demands our plan. Sonny says, don't worry about that anymore. It's past. Continue to plan for your programs, which is more important. Okay? Okay? But just understand that if the evil is not taken away, you can't get to your promise. You must understand that. I understand what you're saying, Sonny, anyways. But we'll keep talking about things that are not resolved and things that are haunting us so that we can get the evil away. But I tell you, this is not destruction. This is setting the records and making sure that we are focused. This is going to help Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to effectively get to the promise. Do you know that there are people who might become dangerous on his path? But if you see evil and you keep quiet, that evil that you keep quiet against might hurt him. And God has put us here to help Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in place of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Just like God put Nnamdi Kanu to help Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Even if Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is where he is, God now puts Nnamdi Kanu to help him to continue. You see the far he has gone just within a year plus. You see the far we have gone. But the far we have gone was because somebody stood his ground and made sure that the legacy of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will not go down. And that's Nnamdi Kanu. The same way also, some people must stand their ground to make sure that Nnamdi Kanu gets the results he's going to get. And that person is you and I. And you must definitely do what you have to do, you know, and to make sure, I'm reading your messages. God doesn't come down to do things, bro. Yes, Amoku, God does not come down to do things. He needs us to do things. And that's why we want, you and I know that if we get attitude of Nigeria into Biafra, we are all done. We are done for. We are done for. I tell you, if we allow the things that are happening in Nigeria to get into Biafra, you know, we are done for. Yes, God uses someone as a arrowhead. Yes, I hear, get your Amoku, that's it. You know, and Matt doesn't say, Sonny, that's African mentality. Of course, that's African mentality. Sometimes we get to, no human being can stop the will of God Almighty. Thank you so much, Clement, for that. No human being can stop the will of God Almighty. Sonny, you just like Dazan was responding to you, that's African mentality, where when things happen, you just shove it under the carpet. Just say, let's forget it, let's go on, let's move on. We are being distracted. No. You guys must understand what the difference between distraction. Now let me explain distraction to you. Distraction is means postponing doomsday. Let me explain it better. When you find a wrong, or you find a trait of evil or something, an attitude your child is portraying, and that's your child is portraying this trait, and you just overlook the child. You say, it's a child. It's a child. Now let me give you an example of myself, my family. There's my younger brother whose son, a little boy, because sometimes we have to speak so that people can understand the way we understand it, and then understand that we are not speaking things far from us. A little boy, my one of my brothers, the son, as earlier, and he's just 1 year plus 2 years. We discover that when he's with female or women or whoever, whether grandmother or whoever he is with, all he does is he wants to put his hand into their skirt. He wants to put his hand into that. And the question is, where is this boy learning these things? Where is this boy learning these things? But somebody else said, we just laugh. Ha, ha, ha. He's a small boy. He's a small boy. Leave him. He's just a small boy. That's how some of us will behave. African mentality. Oh, he's a small boy. Leave it. Just leave it. But the truth about it is that when you leave it, if you leave it, you will become a victim. At a point, that little boy was putting his hand into the skirt of his grandmother. And that raised the alarm. We told the mother, this boy is learning these things from some people, and you always take him to these people. And when he comes there, he begins to show some attitude, some evil tendencies. If you don't arrest this in this small boy, you, the mother, will become the victim of his excesses. Tomorrow you will regret it. We have done our job. We have told the mother. Whatever she does with that information is left to her. It's left to her. I'm going to read your messages. I'm reading them here, but I don't want to talk about them until I begin to read them one after the other. It's left to her, but we needed to tell the mother, because the mother and the father are the only ones who can handle them, because we're not always with the boy. So this would be handled by them. So only God knows what they are doing with that information now. But if they treat it with levity, say, hey, it's just a small boy, it will become a monster. Remember when Iginla, let me just bring that his first prophecy, when he said that the Nigerian government don't want to dialogue. It's not a prophecy anyways. That's his just talk, where he saw some stuff happening and he's talking about dialogue, which anybody can even say. He said, when he said something, he said that when you don't have dialogue, he saw a dream or all of that. He said, tomorrow, he put it this way, that he had a revelation, and then the little puppy took the features of the monster. Now, I'm not saying that's prophetic anyways. He's just talking, because anybody could compose anything. I can compose anything and tell you now. You will not know. But what that is telling you now, yes, Amoku says internet never lies. History will remember every word we say on this day. Yes, thank you so much, Amoku, for reminding us that, because history is fundamental to everything we say. Very fundamental. And that's one of the reasons why I'm making this broadcast, so that we can understand that tomorrow we can always speak it out and know whether the right thing was said or the wrong things were said. But I want you to understand, Biafrans, you shouldn't give up. You should understand that whatever we're doing is to see that we all arrive at a destination, not just arriving at our destination, but arriving with a contrary spirit coming from the other end where we're coming from. That's Nigeria. We're coming in for something better. We're coming in so we need to strengthen one another. We need to encourage one another. And then we need to be a help to leadership. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is the one pulling the strings now. He's the one, and we have about 19 days to no election to stopping Nigeria and getting our freedom. We have 19 days now, and for us to achieve it very, very well and appropriately, we must deal with the excesses and those evils that are around. And you must understand that there are lots of evils around. People are sending messages, people are sending threats, people are doing lots of things. I don't care, because my work is to say the truth. I say the truth in Christ. I lie not. My conscience also bearing me witness in the Holy Ghost. According to Paul, in the book of Romans, chapter 9 or so. Romans chapter 9 or so. Yes. I said, I say the truth in Christ, I lie not. My conscience also bearing me witness. So you must understand, Mary says it's good when you see something good wrong, is going good to say it. Yes, when you see something wrong, you have to say it. God will surely expose all the ingenuine ones among Biafra restoration. You see, that is why we said God is the one piloting the affairs of Biafra. And don't worry yourself, don't bother yourself about anything. And when you see evil, don't keep your mouth shut. When you speak up, it does not distract you. It's not a distraction. And as I was explaining, distraction simply means postponing doomsday. That means what you should have said now, that you would have stopped it now, before it becomes a very fundamental issue, before it gains ground and destroy what you're doing. You stop it before it gains ground. Because if you don't stop it, it will show up at the other side. That is where you know that you actually were not distracted. You were only prompted to stop it. Sorry, please. You were only prompted to stop it. But because you didn't stop it, it has now come to haunt you. And you might be a victim. My brother, Amoku, I don't know where you are going, the point you are going. I don't know whether you listen to this broadcast from top. I'm talking about fighting EPA. I don't understand what you people, sometimes people make comments that are very silly. Say, we are not begging anyone not to fight EPA. Is anybody fighting EPA here? Don't you hear me talking about him and telling you that he's the one leading us? I don't know how we always analyze things. Are you saying that when I see something going wrong, or are you saying that nobody can make mistake, or even someone EPA cannot make mistake? If you say he cannot make mistake, then you mean that he's omnipotent. That means you have placed him in the place of God. Even me can make mistakes. So if I see wrong and I'm pointing it out, don't say I'm fighting. Don't make such kinds of comments. You have to be wise. Don't make comments that make no sense. What you are saying here now makes no sense. Many who have fought ended up in disgrace. Would you analyze what they are doing and what I'm doing here? I saw something wrong and I pointed them out. Does it mean I'm fighting him? Don't you hear me saying that he is the one who have been ordained to do the work? Why are you now saying that I'm fighting him? Some words are better left unsaid. Who told you that some words are better left unsaid? If somebody comes to accuse you in public that they don't know you and that you are this and that, and you say you will keep quiet and leave unsaid, you people don't. I don't understand you people. You people are just so. Is it? Let me not use some words that I'm not supposed to use. You said. Don't talk it personal, bro. You know, I have to take it personal, my brother. I'm okay, because you are not even on. It seems you don't understand what is going on. There are some things that will be said about you in public, especially when it is laid in the whole world, and you know that you are true. You have to come and defend yourself. If you say that in Biafra, when they accuse you, the Biafra want to build this, when they accuse you of wrong, and you don't have to say anything, you have to keep quiet because the person who has accused you is the leader. Then you are building a wrong platform for a nation. When you are accused, you must come to say the right thing, what really happened. And that's what Mazi Livingstone came to do, or Pastor Livingstone came to do. He came to lay out what has really happened and say the truth. That should not be the basis of saying that some things are not to be said. You know, that shouldn't be the basis. There are some things that must be said. When someone accuses me of fraud, I must speak out, or else you'll be known as a criminal. For the video that Pastor Livingstone did, it was some people were now able to see the picture very well. And it is now obvious that, but you are directing your words to me now. You were saying that those who fought him, and because there's no need for basis for that statement you made. Because what I'm doing here is not fighting. I'm just trying to make us understand that we must stand for the truth so that we can help leadership. Simon Ekpa is there for us to help him. If we don't help him, we are going to be messed up together. It will backfire on all of us. So as we go into the system, as we launch into freedom, as we are running 19 days to go. We must begin to weed off. Anything you see wrong, take it off. Kick it away. Kick it with your foot. Or else if you pick it up and run into Biafra, any trait of Nigeria, you're in trouble. Maybe some of you want to call in, just like Amuku have said. He says he wants to call in +212 707 898 194. +212 707 898 194. But I'm still going to, if you want to call in, you can call in now. But I'm still going to explain. Focus is the ability to identify things that does not fit in with where you're going and identifying them and plugging them off, so that what you can be looking at is the thing that you're looking for and not those things that have come around it distracting you. So focus means taking away the odds and looking straight at the ball or what is in front of you. So you must understand that when you are pointing out the wrongs, when you are pointing out the evils, it is not distraction. I actually didn't want to speak this way today, but because of some messages, coming in, I had to go this way. But it's very important that I speak this way too, because all we want, as I'm telling you, I'm talking to you right now, I'm not happy being outside my land. Somebody came yesterday and was saying that you are not Biafran, you are Ghanaian, you are this and all of that. And when I said I am the one who told him, I just laughed. When I know you are a suspect, you think I'll tell you anything about myself? When I know you as a suspect, I won't tell you anything about it. So if I told you that my father is a Ghanaian, then that's what he said. I knew I never told him that anyways, but he was just trying to, lots of things are going on. We must understand that we must weed off the wrongs. We must weed off the excesses so that our leaders can see the right path and move on the right path. We are the ones who clear the way. We clear the way. We see the evils where they are leading us, and we are taking away. We are just in front, trying to clear the way so that they will pass on the right path and get to where, it doesn't. What have I said, Seth? You are saying DOS is. Did I say anything wrong against what we're doing? I'm only preaching. Even those people in that defunct DOS should understand also that when they are pursuing after Chike Doziem and all those idiots, that have destroyed. That try to destroy the legacy of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, that they should understand that they are actually sponsoring what will kill them tomorrow, what will destroy them tomorrow. So they should come out of it. They should go with their conscience. When they see evil, they should desist from evil. So Seth, what I'm saying has nothing, it's not a secret. Everything I'm saying here is preaching. I'm just trying to make you understand that you must be focused. You must see that everything you do is according to the ordinance of truth. And when you see evil, channel it to the right source and speak out. If you keep quiet, it's going to haunt you tomorrow. That's what I'm trying to say. Thank you so much for calling in live and direct on Biafra Global Network. Yes, you can go on, please. I know it's Amoku, right?
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's Amoku. Thank you, Mr. Kelechi. Thank you so much.
Yes, my brother.
I'm grateful, man.
So much. Yeah.
I want you to understand that, first of all, it was whatever I said to you now or whatever I said to you before. It was born out of love for you, and that's why I'm telling you the truth. Because I have this thing in me. Because I love people, because I love you, I must tell you the truth. For posterity. Do you understand? Because I like Kelechi so much. I like Ringi as my own brother, and that's why I'm telling you whatever I'm telling you today. But primarily, whatever I said to you might not be for you personally. But because of the fact that maybe one or two more people that are involved, that's why I feel that, let me say today, that maybe someday in the future, Kelechi, did I speak with you? I don't mean that maybe I am condemning you or condemning anybody. But first of all, let me tell you where I am coming from now, okay? All right. In every organization or every committee, or let's say when you are involved with some people or with somebody, there is always what they call vow of silence. And that vow of silence is not supposed to be broken by any means, no matter what happens. So what Emeka Livingstone did is where I took my topic from. Many people did not know to what extent did Simon get involved with think tank or whatever, or the people involved. He only came out and said, I'm not going to work with so people under this team, but those people that I call their name, they are still my team. We work together. So for Emeka Livingstone to come out with that kind of blazing attack against Simon and speaking some things that I would rather refer as classified information. It's completely unacceptable. There are many people. I'm coming. 1 minute, please. 1 minute. I'm coming. 1 minute, brother. Please.
I'm listening. Are you there? I think he's having a network problem. In case you can call back, Maybe you have a network problem. I want to tell you, you see, I didn't come here to discuss the letter or any other thing, but I am just trying to preach to you guys to let you know that whenever you are doing anything, when you see wrong, you should speak out, because Biafra is the most important thing in the heart of God, and Biafra is for us all. And when you speak out for wrong, it doesn't mean that you are betraying. It doesn't mean that you are distracted. It doesn't mean that you are, in fact, you are exonerating yourself from the curse that might come when you don't speak out. God told Jeremiah that I'm sending you, and if you don't say it and the people don't get the truth, you will be held responsible also. But if you say it, they refuse it, you will not be held responsible. They will be held responsible. If you say it, they take it, and you also will not be held responsible. They also will not be held responsible. So what we are doing here is not about talking about the message of Pastor Livingstone. If you those of you who have not listened to it should go back and listen to it very well. You'll know that he was actually pointing out the fact of what happened. He was never castigating Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. We can never do that. We can never do that, because the issue was brought in the public, and the way it was brought maybe was not well represented, didn't really represent our intentions and motive, for the letter. And the letter itself never carried anything. I don't know whether most of you have gone back to read that pronouncement of the letter. The letter was in support, 100% support of Mazi Simon Ekpa. The letter was not against him. The letter was an official document, straight and confidential, to the office of the spokesperson of Biafra in regards in respect. Yes, Freeman, it's over, but some people are just trying to bring up this matter, which I didn't want to discuss. But anyways, let me hear what Amuku have to say. Yes, so please make the point quickly. You're off? Okay, I think it went off. So that's it. So my message here today is not about what has happened. My message is for Biafrans to understand that God have brought you all, and the reason why Biafra will come, is Barry, or what's that name? Barry. You make us remember those funny things we used to say those days when we were in secondary school. Barry, see your Barry or something. Pastor Livingstone disappointed most of us. I'm disappointed in this, even your message. Your message is so disappointing, but it seems you are not, you don't analyze things very critical. Go and look at the message that Pastor Livingstone broadcasted and get the facts right. You cannot be accused of a thing and you will not speak up. So if I have come to be the one to broadcast that day, I would have said the same things. I would have explained it the way I'm going to explain it, and make Biafrans understand that we never had any evil intention, and we can never have any evil intention for against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. We are strongly speaking, and the letter was a letter. The letter itself was a letter for only the spokesperson. It was not for everybody. The letter was not for everybody. It was for the spokesperson, and it was a call for a meeting and for some actions to be taken against some people who are suspects. Yes, my brother. So keep on. Listen to.
Hello, Mazi Kelechi. I don't have to take your time. Maybe 2 minutes is enough.
1 minute.
Maybe I only want to talk to you, ask you a question. Yeah, maybe 1 minute is enough. Okay.
Yes.
I'm not going to take your time. Yes. I can guarantee you that. Let me tell you, like I was saying before, maybe there was a break. There was a miscommunication out of network or whatever. I don't know. Sorry about that. So what I'm trying to say is this here. I have no issue with you. I didn't hear anything from you. But I can't judge anybody who didn't say a word. Now, where I'm coming from is from Pastor Livingstone. Did you watch his broadcast after 10th of February? Our spokesperson made an announcement.
Let me make you understand something, my brother. That's his broadcast. We with the think tank decided.
He was speaking on behalf of the group which you were part of.
Now listen to me.
Which you were a member of.
Yes,
listen. For everybody.
Would you just listen to what I'm going to say? That broadcast was in agreement with us. We decided, we all agreed that he should go on to clarify things. And if you listen to that broadcast clearly, you'll discover that he never mentioned or insulted. Rather, he made people to believe that we had the right motive and we are still 100%, in fact, 1000% behind Simon Ekpa, even if he made some mistakes. That was what the broadcast talked about. There was nowhere he made any statement indicting Simon Ekpa on anything. He only talked about humans who can make mistakes. And I want you to understand this, my brother. That when you think, when you want to, now let me give you, hold on, let me give you an instance. Let me give you an instance. Let's just imagine that Biafra is now a nation. And now maybe you are the president. And now you decide to decide to make a particular statement. And the people maybe under the departments of Biafra Nation decide to see what you have, just like let's say the National Labour Congress, for instance, let's just call it the National Labour Congress. They see that this policy of government is wrong, and they come out to issue a statement, or they send a message to you as the president, and they want you to respond to them. Now, let me ask you, as the president, would you respond to them, or you will go out and begin to publicize to the nation? Or would you respond to them, call them for a meeting? And if you, for instance, goes out to respond, and they now also go out to respond in a democratic setting, what are you supposed to do? What does it mean when they come to clarify themselves? Does it amount to treason?
All right. Let me. I've had your point. Okay.
No, answer me first. Does it amount to treason?
I have your point now.
Or are you saying that those? Wait, hold on. Let me. You have not responded. Hold on, please. Hold on. Now, does it mean that they are coming out to clarify issues is treasonable, or does it mean that it is against the government? I want you to answer those questions.
Now, let me answer your question first before I go to what Simon said, okay? Now, you can never throw away the dirty water with the child, because that water is dirty. There is what they call classified information. Let me tell you what Emeka Livingstone did. Emeka Livingstone, in other words, told the general public that this is what we have been doing with Simon that the world does not know. So if Simon should judge us guilty, now judge him guilty as well, because this is what we have been doing with him. Many people does not know that Simon gave that particular group some assignment to do. Even the one that he made mention of, the United Nations. This is where my grief is coming from. That was what they call classified information. Now, even if the president of the nation wanted to address the public, in other words, transparency is the code. Now, there are some ways that he will use some black ink or red ink or yellow ink to clean, to make sure that the general public to those sensitive materials. Now, how could Emeka come? That was a confrontation. He did not even come to clarify himself. He only came to confront Simon. You know why? I think I know him. He's my son. I'm older than him. I have his number. It doesn't work that way. That is where I'm coming from. Maybe you did not think it in this line. I want you to think about it. Many men, many people, the Biafrans at large, does not know there are some...
Mazi.
Oh, man.
Mazi,
don't get the message, but I'm going to leave you alone.
Mazi, I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying.
Very, very great. But that was a confrontation broadcast. It wasn't even to defend himself.
Mazi,
listen to me. And to tell the world what Simon was doing with him behind the scene. I'm the one that write the Constitution. I'm the one that did the Code of Conduct.
Mazi, listen
and
to
you gave me assignments on UN. Man, it wasn't so.
Mazi, listen to me.
Those things are just on personal ground, but that's okay, brother.
Mazi,
sorry for the interruption. I've said my mind. Kelechi, I love you so much. That's my own. You better watch your back and be careful for the people you mingle with, people you deal with.
No, that's
Simon will know and Simon will trust. Simon will know and Simon will trust.
Is there anybody who doesn't trust him?
Simon will know and Simon will trust.
Is there anybody who is fighting him? Now you are making the wrong statements now. Is there anybody who doesn't know?
No.
No, you are the one now who is... You are the one now.
I've said mine.
See, my brother, see, sometimes...
I'm not directly attacking you. No, I'm not attacking you, Kelechi.
No, you are making some statements that are not necessary.
The Simon I know, the Simon I trusted. So you speak for yourself. But what Emeka did was a confrontation. That was not a broadcast of clarity. No,
now
that
listen,
was a confrontation.
Now listen, my brother.
He exposed a lot of things that people were not supposed to know.
Are you going to listen to me?
He exposed many things that many men was not supposed to know. Now he told the Fulani that I am even said that Simon said we should send a letter to the UN and Fulani can go now and just clean up that letter. He told the world that we even send a letter that the UN said that we should bring a letter for the people who are getting.
Now let me respond to you. Do you know that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has always told the world that we have been writing to UN? Is it a secret that we have been writing to UN? Have we been talking about it?
On this particular one, there comes a time. Now, because of Nnamdi Kanu said that we should just say everything we are doing, do you expect Simon Ekpa to go and reveal some important
there was no important thing. There was no important thing.
There are some ways that are not supposed to be used. That's what I said, that some ways are very left unsaid.
Listen,
my brother. My right up, I said to you, some ways are very left unsaid. There are some certain ways that you don't need, that does not need public consumption.
Listen, my brother, there was nothing. Oh my God, my brother, listen. There was nothing that was said that is a secret. That we wrote to UN. We have been writing to UN. We have been giving them evidences. It's still the same thing. Prince Ezem is live here now, but before he comes up, let me hear what the next person is going to say. Prince, please just give me 2 minutes. Let's hear from the next speaker. You are welcome live on the program. Please say what you want to say, please. You're welcome.
Is it me you are referring to now? Yes.
Okay, Prince, go on, because the network for this guy is not. Please go.
Thank you so much, Kelechi. I just stumbled into this your broadcast. As you can see, I'm driving, and I hope that there'll be no issues with network.
Yeah.
I haven't stopped laughing, but I've stopped laughing because of the seriousness of the matter in hand. And I just wanted to come on to say to you, Kelechi, and the Biafrans, the faithful Biafrans listening, that it is not by accident, and it is not unusual that our people struggle to appreciate issues, understand issues, and have the level of reasoning required to deal with issues of a nation. It is not shocking, and the fact this calls to mind a lot of some of the things Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was crying out about when he says, "I wish I never came from Africa because black people can't reason. Black people struggle to understand issues." The truth is, let me put it this way: Biafra is here, and Biafra is here to stay. But we also recognize that there are many mountains, and people will come to Biafra and in Biafra and outside Biafra that will confuse everything, that will make you even query your own common sense. What is difficult in understanding that a private letter was written to Simon Ekpa? Listen attentively. What is difficult in understanding that a private letter was written to Simon Ekpa?
No, please, just hold on. Sir, please, just one moment. Let's hear what he wants to say. Just 1 minute, quickly.
Hello, Mazi Kelechi. Good evening, sir.
Yes, good evening from here.
This is Thomas Eliezer. I want to briefly contribute to the issue that you people were discussing about between Simon Ekpa and your group and Pastor Livingstone. You understand? This is not an issue that we have to come and escalate the whole thing. You understand? I don't think the explanation of Pastor Livingstone was too bad, but I didn't want anything to be asked in public so that I don't want the zoo government to know what is happening within us. I think a little bit went too far by exposing some very valuable secrets. He shouldn't have. There were some things he shouldn't have said it out. I will be very clear about that. But I'm not against him.
All right.
If somebody is accused, you have to clarify yourself. But there were some secrets that you have to keep secret.
Can I help that my brother now, please? Can I help him?
attack from one.
All right.
From different angles. So
all right.
I don't see anything wrong, and I don't want people who are calling to escalate the whole situation.
Yeah.
My brother, we've understood you. Can we respond, please?
All right, please.
I'm not attacking him.
All right.
I didn't see anything wrong in trying to explain himself out, but we shouldn't escalate this. This is nothing.
Yes. Thank you
it's
so
not
much.
even an issue.
Thank you so
it's
much.
Something that we can deal with.
Yes.
Thank you.
We are more mature than this.
Yes. Thank you so much, my brother. Thank you so much.
We shouldn't let the devil.
Oh my God.
Yes. Scatter what we are fought from.
All right. Thank you so much, my brother. Let's praise. Yeah. Thank you so much.
God bless you.
Yeah. God bless you too.
God bless you.
All right. Please, sir, go on.
Thank you. Let me assure and reassure that the last speaker that there is nothing called escalation here, and there is nothing that is private or public, because everything he's talking about is already known to Nigeria. Nigeria already, there is nothing private here or secret. So that is one thing to understand. And there is nothing called escalation. This is Biafra, for Christ's sake. You see, Biafra will introduce new ways of doing things in this world, because we're not going to shy away from dealing with hard, real issues. And I want people to know that Biafra coming will have nothing to do with how secretive or how open we were, how clever we were, because we haven't been clever, we haven't been secretive, we haven't. In fact, everything about Biafra is already known by the zoo, as you people call them, because we have serious infiltration. We have situations now where I think somebody had actually, in fact, from all the things that have come out of this, I can assure you that DOS might be a child's play compared to what is going on. So, and that's why I need people to know that Biafra is coming, not because of how clever we have been or how secretive we have been or nothing. No, Biafra is coming simply because God has found 2 or 3 or more people that are dedicated about this freedom of Biafra, and God has sanctioned Biafra to come because God wants Biafra to do something that will shock the world. So let no man think that we have been clever or we've been smart or we've outmatched. No. It's not. Biafra is not coming because of how smart we have been. There is no secret we have that Nigeria doesn't know. So it's important we understand it. But coming back to the secret letter that was written privately to Simon Ekpa, I share the view that Simon showed that he lacks the man management skill when it comes to how he dealt with that letter. What that letter simply demanded from a professional angle was for Simon to, at least the starting point will be to give a reply to the people that wrote it directly first. And in fact, nothing would have stopped him if he said to the people that wrote it, look, I have to go public with this because it's important for friends to understand. To take a private letter just like that and to circulate it and come to social media to read out a private letter.
Oh, we lost him. When he comes in again, I think he's driving, so the network is unstable. I think he's coming up again, but let's see when he gets to a place where, you know, he could rejoin, he will join. He's still trying to connect. Please, I want Biafrans to calm down. You have to understand that we are not at war. We are at peace. And the reason why, Kati Mwabuzi, I don't know why you are sending all these messages you are sending, Kati. You have to understand that we are not here. Nobody, you said I shouldn't let him in again. Why wouldn't I let him in again? What has he said that is wrong? Kati, you have to, the messages you are sending is not critical enough, because you are looking at things in your own way. You're not looking at things, you know, in the mindset of a nation. And that's what we're trying to do. So let me bring you up again, please. Prince, you can go on, please. Sorry for
yes,
that.
I am very, very sorry. I told you, I warned earlier that I'm driving, so we might have some interruptions. So as I was saying, anybody criticizing Pastor Livingston, I can assure you, is either, can you still hear me?
Direct, live and direct, I can hear you.
Can you still hear me?
Live, I can.
Can you still hear me?
Yes, I can. I can.
Thank you. So let me make this point, and I may have to then leave you to get on with it. Anybody who is criticizing Pastor Livingston is either not aware of all the issues, or is not competent enough to digest issues, or is perhaps trying to pander to a particular way of thinking. Because if you have your thinking brains on and understand how this letter was written and the contents of the letter, and the fact that the letter was addressed to only Simon, and then you listen in details to hear what Simon had to say in the open, and then especially where he was talking as though he knew nothing about ETTG or TTG or whatever, and then now you go and listen to what Pastor Livingston is saying in terms of the background to ETTG and the amount of work ETTG had done for and on behalf of Biafra people, which was welcomed by Simon. You will have no other conclusion than to say to Simon, please listen, Simon, listen. One person can never know it all. Okay, so what you are seeing are people who are just, that Nigerian mode of, I just want to condemn something because others may be condemning it. Oh, well, I'm just aware of one headline here. Let me deal with this headline. Or, you know how unbaked our people are. You know how half-baked our people are. Our people are too lazy to take out time to digest information. Our people are too confused that Nigeria has corrupted the soul of our people so much that they are too lazy to do any work in order to come up with proper, well-educated, well-informed perspectives. And that is what Biafra is coming to correct. Don't forget that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu warned us and said, look, Biafra will introduce the kingdom of God here on earth. That means Biafra is coming to do something very unique and very that Nnamdi Kanu plugged into of God for God to reveal to him what Biafra is coming to do. Biafra is not coming to play all these silly jokes about who has more money, has the best say, or who all this nonsense, all this absolute nonsense. Because of course you can see Mazi Nnamdi living up to his words. Because you can see that they have tried to bribe him with all sorts of money. But he knows that money is not the issue here. money is nothing compared to what Biafra is coming to introduce. So to the faithful Biafrans, I tell you, don't be worried about what you're seeing. We had to go through this mountain. You see all the confusion you're seeing now? Because in the human eye, this journey must be impossible. In the human eye, and that is where the God of impossibility will now reveal his glory through making our impossibility possible. Biafra is here to stay, so don't panic about what you're seeing. We have to go through this. Don't forget also that our enemies will abound both from within and without. So don't be scared of what you're seeing. It's a process we must go through before we reach our promised land. I thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for that explanation. We appreciate you for that. Now, so much so, we thank you for giving us that brief. And we say thank you. So let's not bother you. and let's allow
Please,
him to
I've got to leave. I just thought just add my 2 pence to the equation. I thank you, and God bless you, and keep up the good work.
Thank you so much. Yes.
Okay. Bye-bye.
I want you to, yes. Yeah. Biafrans, I want you to understand that there's no panic. Everything is in control. The only reason why I allow this to go on is because most of you were talking about the letter. The letter should not have been read out. The letter should not have been, it should not have been given initially. We shouldn't have sent a letter and all of that. But I want to tell you that when it comes to official thing, when you're operating in a nation, when it has to do with nation, there are ways of communication. An official correspondence is very, very important. The letter was an official correspondence based on the fact that the things that actually came up at that time were official. And so there was a need for an official approach to it. It's not about know me, I know you, I call you, I have your phone number. No, it's official. So you must understand that Biafra is a nation. Some of us are not seeing Biafra as a nation. We are seeing Biafra as, one thing that, boy, I know you, me, know you, we are Biafrans. No, Biafra is a nation, and we are operating like a nation. So the letter was an official correspondence to relate to the spokesperson, to the office of the spokesperson, to relate the facts of some things that were going wrong and all of that. And of course, we know that along the line, there might be some kind of, misunderstanding, or maybe some other mistakes, which Mazi, Simon, I'm sorry, Prince, not Prince now, Pastor Livingstone had to actually come to correct, because, he had to explain our side of the whole thing. But I want Biafrans to understand that sending a letter is not out of place. It is official. It is normal. In fact, it is the right thing to do. It is the right thing to do. Linus, I get your message. So it's the right thing to do. I'm just trying to clear the minds of those who are saying that in the first place, the letter should not have gone. So all of you should calm down. There's nothing that has gone wrong. The letter was an official correspondence. If you go to government offices, you see, we have the office of the spokesperson. Have you forgotten? It's an office. So the letter went there, and then the letter went to the office of the spokesperson. But however it is, we know that the next explanation was because there was a broadcast and Pastor Livingstone came out to actually explain the details, and of course, if you check what Pastor Livingstone talked about, the facts are things that are still out there. The issue of telling the nations Samuel Ekpa himself have sold us several times that we are informing the world that we're going to fight back. So the letters telling the world that we're going to fight back is still in line with what Mazi Nnamdi said. And the issue of writing to United Nations. We've been writing to United Nations. Even Nigeria knows. They also have their people in the United Nations who is giving them feedback. The Fulani woman there. They know that we're writing. So it's not a secret. So you guys should understand in context, how these things go. So don't begin to say we are bringing out secrets or whatever. No, there's nothing. The issue of the letter to the United Nations is what even Mazi Nnamdi himself have been saying, that we are writing to the world. We are writing to nations of the world to tell them that we're going to fight, we're going to take our place, we're going to do that. He has been saying it. He keeps them on Twitter, he tags them that you see what they're doing, we're going to fight. So the writings, the United Nations also have been getting our correspondence all this while. And of course, we have a Fulani person there in the United Nations, those who are within, who are giving Nigeria feedback. Whenever we write, they prompt Nigeria. So don't say it's a secret. There's nothing secret about writing to, to nations, Noelin, you made a very vital point here. This should not be a private letter because he's not doing a private job, of course, but there are some letters you have to write to his office. And of course, even when those letters are written to his office, they are actually public letters, but of course, addressed to him as the spokesperson who deals with the matters public, or private based on the content of the letter. You understand? So if you look at the content of the letter never depicts never insulted the spokesperson, never indicted him, never, talked down on his office or rubbished his office. It was just these facts, these are the things we have seen. We want to help and see that these things are restored and these things don't go. And in fact, these people who made this blah blah. These are the points that were made in that letter. And of course, when it came public, there was a need for clarification, and that was why Pastor Livingstone had to come all out to clarify. I don't want to go into facts of the issues, but I'm just trying to make you understand, because most of you are concerned about why the letter, why not the letter. I didn't want to talk about this matter, but this is people. I know that people have been waiting. You're looking for an opportunity to talk about this matter. Some of us are very, hey, you are distracted. You must go on. You must go on. No. That's not it. It's not distraction. It's actually clarifying things. If you don't clarify things, they're going to wait for you ahead. And you must understand that Biafra is a nation. So whatever we do now, we have to do it in the right perspective. Have the right mindset towards Biafra. We love the spokesperson very well. We are working with him strongly, and we will support him. We keep supporting him. We keep talking about, his efforts and everything. We keep saying it that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has ordained him to go on with the job, and we keep supporting him. So you have to understand that, but you must understand also that it is in your place, it's your responsibility for you to also uncover anything that is going wrong, because the nation we are building is a nation of transparency, a nation of truth, which Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said. Next time, because of time, I'm not going to play that video. I'm going to play it where Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said, Biafra is a nation of truth, it's a nation of transparency, and all of that. And Dave Francis, please, when you are making statements, go back and think critically. You guys, Biafrans, you must understand that when you get an information, look at it through, not out of sentiment. And please, any call that is coming now to talk about this matter, please, it's not going to be, I don't want to entertain this matter again. I want to move on. I don't want to talk about this matter. I'm just trying to make clarifications for those who, who are saying why letter, why no letter. I try to make you understand this. So if we're going to be talking further, let's say, let's move on. Talk in regards of what the message today is about. The message today is about you seeing evil and pointing it out and making sure you don't hide it, so that the spirit of Biafra will not be against you. You must make sure that you make yourself an agent of truth. You must make yourself an agent of truth and transparency. And that is why we are called. Thank you so much for joining. You are welcome to the program live on Biafra Global Network. Please, we're not here to discuss the letter or no letter or Pastor Livingstone or anything. We're here to discuss the issue on ground, which is when you see evil, please go on and say it, so that we can deliver ourselves and save ourselves from evil infiltration, and so that we can all receive the blessings of Chukwokike in Biafra. So go on, please. Thank you.
This is an information.
All right.
I would like us to, it's an information, the information. It's not something public.
You're already public.
Can you hear me?
You're already public. If it's not something public, then
I know. You know who is talking now.
You say it's an information, it's not something public. So please don't say anything that's supposed to be secret in public. That's what I'm trying to make you understand. Maybe you think you're talking to me now outside the program.
Because I don't want you to when shall I, because this is very urgent, because I want you to reach Mazi.
Okay, why not wait when I'm out of the program, we talk, because now you are open. I'm already on live broadcast. Okay.
Yes,
I'm on live broadcast.
Okay.
Yes, please. Thank you so much.
How many minutes time?
Let's say in 10 minutes. In 10-15 minutes.
Okay, it's all right.
Yes, please.
Okay,
please. No public, private message on public platforms, please. Thank you so much. Thank you. We'll talk later.
Right.
Thank you. Yes, I'll call you. So that's it. So please understand this, that God wants you to be Biafra's keeper. Whenever you see evil, don't shield it because you think it is distraction. When you shield evil, that is when you are distracting. Because when that evil comes against the work that God has designed, it will now affect us all. So you must understand that evil is evil. Whenever you see it, it is. Dave Francis says, God bless someone, God bless Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. He say, God bless Biafra Nation. He say, and that is why we are saying that we would not shield evil. We would always speak out. So when you find something wrong, speak it, say it, don't shield it. Take it to the appropriate quarters. And don't blow it out, and don't make it look like it is a personal thing. Make sure that you say it, and when it is needed to be spoken out, it will be spoken out. When it is needed to tell all Biafrans to be alert of it, it will be told all Biafrans to be alert of it. So I want you to understand that what we are doing here is spiritual. And of course, you all know that it's spiritual, but you must understand that spiritual things have a way of also managing itself, and at the same time using human beings to give the right perspective to facts and everything. I thank you all because you guys have been wonderful. Let me look at the messages. I don't know, because the messages are much today. I don't know if I'll be able to read each of them. Majesty, YT, we don't handle issues. That's why I don't love any Biafran more than any other Biafran. I love all Biafrans because we all are equal in the sight of the law of Biafra. Eliezer Thomas. Okay, thank you so much, Eliezer, for that. We're equal. You see, it is very important that you know your role to play in Biafra. You must understand your role. There are some things that you don't sweep under the carpet. You must talk about them. And there are some things also you must keep them so that you don't destroy, what you're doing. Now, right now, we don't need to argue about this matter, because now that you're bringing up the argument, that's when the distraction is. But pointing out the facts of what is wrong, you can't imagine me see a Nigerian infiltrator in Biafra and I won't speak out. It doesn't make sense. That means I want to destroy the whole thing. You can't imagine me see somebody who is working for Nigeria in Biafra, maybe with around Mazi Nnamdi, and I don't say anything about it. No, it's going to be, that means I am wicked. That means I am dangerous. You can't imagine me hear of a policy that is being instituted on behalf of Biafra. I know that would destroy the whole of the work we've been doing, and I don't speak about it. No, you can't imagine me not do that. So we must understand that everything we do, there are some things that must be spoken out, there are some things that will be kept. And that wisdom is where the direction is. And that's where we get the direction to know what to speak and what not to speak, so that we don't get, we put our spokesperson on the know, so that he knows the people working around him, he knows what is happening around him, and also we inform him on the things that he needs to advise him on the things he needs to do right and the things that he doesn't need to do at all, and that is it. I understand, Onyi, 2023. I understand it's not about me, but I'm involved in this, and the whole thing began with me, because I'm the one who brought the issue of the currency and the heads of the people who want to be put in the currency, and of course the issue of some people who are infiltrators. I'm the one who brought those issues, so that fact that comes from me. I love, but you must understand, and when the time comes for us to expose the infiltrators, we're going to do that. But if it's not now, if it's not for us to do that, we're going to do that. Because if we see infiltrators around Mazi Nnamdi and we have evidences, definitely we have to prove them. And that is me. I believe in truth, and I believe in truth. I have sworn my life for Biafra. On the 1st of January here, I came here, I disowned renounced Nigeria, anything that has to do with Nigeria. And so I'm working with my heart for Biafra, and anything that will destroy this Biafra, when I don't even have a status anymore. I'm not in Nigeria. So I need to get my nation so that I can be a citizen of my nation, and that's what I'm here to do. So if you talk about anything that will destroy Biafra, count me out. And I tell you, I can assure you that nobody who was part of that signing of that letter, or some of us who was, at least let me not even talk about the sign of the letter. I'm talking about you talk about Pastor Livingstone, and Prince Ism, Mr. Adazion. None of these people are against Biafra. They are, in fact, I didn't want to say this. Maybe I have to say it today. When Mazi Nnamdi had did not fine, we actually constituted a prayer team and we started praying for him, and we're praying for him daily. Until date, we're still praying. We're praying for Biafra. We're praying for you. We're praying for him. And we're doing everything spiritual. So when you see things happening, you just know that there might be some spiritual, direction and things that are going on here to help us navigate this. And of course, as the topic says today, the only reason why Biafra has been ordained to come is because Chukwu Okike himself has ordained it to come, not because anybody is making it come. Not by might, nor by power, not by our intelligence, or we think we have the weapons, or we think we have the resources. If you talk about natural resources or weapons and all of that, weaponry and all of those details, you discover that we are far behind, because Britain has more. Britain has the personnel. They know how to manipulate the world. They know how to manipulate UN. They know how to manipulate other people to come against us. But we have our help in the name of the Lord. For the Lord our God is the one we have our help in, and our help is in his name. So that is why you have to understand that it is because Chukwu Okike has ordained it to come, not because if you want to look at us, what we do, sometimes the things we do might get us into trouble. The things we do might make us lose direction. Because we are imperfect as humans, we might get ourselves, let's go. Say, please, Mazi, let today be the last time you talk about this issue. All right, sir, let's go. I hear you. You guys should be careful. Someone is very transparent. That is why anyone that work with him must be clean. We are all clean, my brother. We are all clean. We are all clean. That is why we're doing what we're doing, my brother. Let's go. Let's go. AO, let's go. _ let's go. We're all clean. I am very clean, and I can show you that. It's not a boast, but I know I'm clean. I didn't come for any gains in Biafra. These broadcasts I'm doing, the broadcasts I do every day, I don't collect money to do them. I do them from my own funds. And so I know how much I spend every month for data alone to download, get information, and all that. Still come to broadcast. You know what it is. So you should know that we are doing this as sacrifice. So we're not doing it to destroy ourselves. I can't come to Biafra to destroy myself. But any saboteur I see, I will expose. When I see something wrong, I will say. And I want you to do that too. It's very important. That is not distraction. That is being on the path of truth. As Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have always said. We will say it. The reason why we keep exposing Nigeria, exposing the Fulanese, exposing the politicians around us, exposing even the defunct DOS members, is because we have seen something that negates Biafra. When you see something negative Biafra, that even in our team, the autopilot, once you see somebody who is doing something against Biafra, speak up, because or else they'll become a problem to the cause of freedom, you know, and that is very, very dangerous to our collective freedom and interest. And I want you to understand that. So that is the reason and the purpose why we're here today. I want to appreciate you all for counting out, for making it grand today. I want to appreciate you all for your time, for everything. Albert James, Iris, let's go. Let me just begin to, name these things one after the other. Maybe, let's go. Blessing Chuku, Mary K, Eliezer Thomas, only 2023. Albert James, Dave Francis, Dave Francis. We have Majesty, YT, Dave, Francis. Okay, I've mentioned before. Atu Anyu, Chukwemeka is here. Mary and Ma Gloria, happy Valentine's Day to you. Ma Gloria Matthias, thank you so much. I like that. I like that. You just came in spite of everything people are saying. Just happy Valentine's to you. People will just arguing what you are not supposed to argue. If you are constructive, you'll understand that what is happening is really important for where we're going, so that we can all be at the watch, so that we all can be on the path, watching each other's back to make sure we don't fail Chukwokige, to make sure we don't fail the generation to come, watching each other's back. I tell you, there are lots of things happening, but all is going to be to the glory of the name of the Lord Chukwokige. Lots of things. I tell you, in autopilot, even in the midst of autopilot, there are evil people working even against Mazi Nnamdi. But Chukwokige will expose every one of them. The Spirit of Biafra will expose them. At the same time, you cannot stop this thing that is coming. The chaff will be taken off, but the freedom will be gotten. Nobody can stop the freedom. Nobody can stop what is coming. Nobody can stop the sieving, of the weed, of the chaff. Nobody can stop it. Everything works together. All things work together for good to them that love the Lord, and according to his purpose. Doesn't say silence is not always golden, and that's the fact. Lynn says Biafra is learning to adults. Yes, Biafra is just going up there and going there, up there, up there. I think I'm mentioning names. Let me pronounce everybody's name here, because be that I mentioned some people's name, I didn't mention some. Abulo Ugo Best, thank you so much for your message. Abulo, is it Edo or what language? Abulo. It sounds Edo, that Ibilo area. Is it Ugo Best? Ugo Best should be Biafra name. Now, Patience, Apan, thank you so much. Mrs. Dagazan, thank you so much. Neolin, thank you so much. Tina, okay, thank you. Alex Uche, thank you for your message. Chi Bike Obi, thank you so much for your message. Thank you, Samuel Chukudebelu. Thank you so much. Sonny, thank you so much for your message. Mary K, thank you so much. Ugo Mentor, thank you so much. Onyebulu Ovaga, thank you so much for your message. Thank you, Zamaka Nicholas, good to have you here. Ugochi Judith, thank you. Obizwe Mike, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. You guys are great guys. Kevin Posiano, thank you so much. Posiano, thank you so much for your message. Austin Future, thank you so much for your message. Sorry. Once I'm through, I'll call you. Right? He's still calling. Maybe he thinks I would have ended the broadcast. I'll call him back. Sunny, thank you so much. Mary K, thank you. Nolan, of course, I mentioned you. Mary K, I've mentioned you. Kathy, one boy said thank you so much. Dr. Benjamin, thank you. Ignore comments, please, if you have so many agents. Okay. Thank you so much, my brother and doctor. Thank you, Dr. Benjamin. Thank you. Emmanuel Chibike, thank you so much for your message. Of course, I've mentioned some. Constantine, thank you so much. This is the Constantine Day. Anyways, thank you so much, Constantine Kanebe. Thank you so much, my brother. Sometimes I find it hard to pronounce names. Fine boy, Desmond, because I'm too used to English. Don't mind me. You know, fine boy Desmond, thank you. Clement, thank you so much, Clement. Good to have you today again. Omoku, thank you so much, my brother, for your argument. In all, we of course have to. And Diana Ogumbiade, my Oduduwa sister, thank you so much for being here. Blessing people, thank you. Elisa Thomas, of course, I've mentioned you before. Dr. Benjamin, I've mentioned you. And I've mentioned all the names. And let me go further to see. Elisa Thomas, I've mentioned. Of course, I've mentioned Steve J. Thank you so much, Steve J. Seth Wanoche, Seth Wanoche, thank you so much for that. Onyoma Wachu Chineke. Onyoma, okay, Onyoma, sorry. Onyoma Wachineke, thank you so much. Thank you, Freeman. Thank you so much, my brother Freeman. Good to have you here. Blessing Chuku, thank you. Of course, I've mentioned Barry. Thank you so much for your messages. Also, John Almeida, yeah, of course, my brother, you are here live. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. Let me see. Of course, you know, we have Stella Arrow, thank you. Albert James, Kathy Mwabweze, thank you for your messages. Of course, you are concerned. We're all concerned Biafrans. That's why we're airing our views here and saying it the way we feel. You know, Kevin Aposione, thank you so much. I've mentioned you before, and of course, I've mentioned this. I've mentioned this. They've mentioned this, and of course, let me go further with Celine. I've mentioned you before, so. Blessing, I've mentioned you, and of course, I've mentioned everybody here. Of course, Onyama, I've mentioned you. Onyama, thank you. I've mentioned you. I've mentioned Majesty, YT. I've mentioned you. He said I should be careful with the man talking. These are pure heart people with a pure heart for Biafra. So Majesty, don't be afraid of that. He said I should be careful of the man talking. No, don't be afraid, my brother. These are, you know, when you don't know people, you don't know them. But I can tell you, you know, my spirit is pure for Biafra. And I can tell you that I attract pure-hearted Biafrans. Once I meet you and something is wrong, I will know within me. And over time, God will now begin to make you expose yourself. And that's what has been happening. And God will help. With time, we are here. We're going to expose saboteurs. Very well, with evidences. We are not joking. Biafra, we must get, and Simon Ekpa will take us, you know, to the place where Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will take us into it. And that's what is going to happen. Because Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is coming out soon, so we're going to get there, you know, and together they're going to move us into the freedom. Simon Ekpa has held forth, and we are holding his hands. We cannot let it down. We would hold his hand forth, and we are going to hold his hand until Mazi Nnamdi Kanu picks that hand up, and together they put us into our freedom and silhouette, you know, into our freedom. So that's certain. So just don't be rest assured that we are spiritually alert. You know, lots of things happen in the spiritual realm, but we're spiritually alert. Don't worry yourself, my brother. So that's Israel. Thank you. Shalom also sent his message. Actually, we're not right. We should stop. All right. Shalom. Scolante autopilot. The prince is really. Oh no! Don't say that, Scolante. You are wrong. You're very wrong. You don't know the perspective we're coming. Just go and listen to the broadcast, you know, and all of that, you know, and then you'll understand what is really happening. You know, sometimes we quickly run into conclusions. We rush into conclusions because we don't analyze things critically the way we're supposed to analyze them. So we make the wrong judgment, you know. We make the wrong judgment, and then we find ourselves now being wrong. AJ, you know, there's so many things that are critical that you don't understand. So when you see people come out to speak, especially people you have known to be broadcasting all this while, and they always speak the truth. Go back to the broadcast, our messages. You see what we speak, how we speak, and how we stand for the truth. So when you see us come out, take actions, you should understand that we are not taking actions to jeopardize anything or to destroy anything or to destroy any reputation or to destroy the program or the movement. We are taking actions because there are some things we need to point out, and there are some things we have seen. And you can be rest assured that we are not going to do anything that will destroy Biafra, or neither that will be against Simon Ekpa. No, we can't do that. MOAJ, thank you. And Linus, thank you. Mwafru, thank you so much, Linus, for that for your messages. Of course, we have what is the name? I'm still Prof Pilot Otto Anthony. Okay, Prof Pilot Anthony. Dan Deze, thank you so much. He said unity. Thank you so much for that, my brother. Good to have you there. And And of course, all the Priscilla. Thank you so much, Priscilla. Is it Priscilla or Priscilla? Okay, Priscilla. Okay, Priscilla here. Thank you, Ma Gloria Martha. It's good to have you. I'm appreciating you. And Chukwemeka is here too. Abarakwe. Thank you so much, my brother Chukwemeka. Thank you for everyone sending your messages, whether you agree or you disagree. We are still moving forth to where we should go, and we're all focused on what we're doing. So that is the fact. So I want to appreciate you all, and I've seen the messages and all. To the glory of God. I know that I have some messages coming in. Obi Biafra, Team Biafra. Okay, Ada Biafra watching from Chicago. Thank you so much, Ada Biafra. Good to have you here. And we also have Bishop Okoye. Bishop Okoye, thank you, Bishop Okoye, being here. Also, we have Stella Arrow. Thank you, Stella Arrow. Obi Biafra, of course. Yes. We have Vicky Eyina. Thank you so much, Vicky. We have, of course, the messages coming. So you read the messages there. I will not be able to read messages, but of course, you just go through the messages after now and go through the messages and see for yourself, and then go back to the broadcasts and then get your facts so that we know we all be on the same. We just know that we all need the freedom like never before, and that's why we're doing what we have to do. Very, very important for us all to go home, and that is very, very important. Thank you all, dear friends. I want to appreciate you. Tomorrow is going to be another day, and we're going to be talking further from this point and talking deeper into how we can collectively put our hands together to see that we get Biafra. The spokesperson of Biafra, I think, will be coming up tomorrow evening. I think, yes, tomorrow evening. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will be coming live tomorrow evening. So join in and also be part of it today. Albert James says, Kelechi, believe it or not, there's something deep inside of you that makes us to mind and listen to you. Someone is real and original. Yes, someone is real and original. Someone is real and original, my brother. Nobody's saying someone. See, when someone makes mistake, does not mean they are not real and original. If I make a mistake now, does not mean I'm not real and original. But you can know the difference between mistakes and evil. So Simon is not evil. He's real. He's ordained. He's doing the right things. He's doing the work of Chukwokike. And he's doing it according to the heart desires of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. But that doesn't mean that he cannot make mistakes sometimes. So when he makes mistakes, we are there watching. We will now say, hey, Simon, this is it. This part, please don't do this. This one, watch this person. Watch this. No, this thing may not be not be effective and all of that. That is where we come to now agree to disagree to agree. He might say, no, I don't see it that way. And we talk to her. And later we now say, oh, wow, this is how it is. And we now settle matters. So you guys must understand this in this light. I'm on and off what's happening. My Gloria, I may not be able to talk about what's happening right now. So please go back and listen to this. Listen to it very well. And then you'll get the facts from this broadcast. Please let's share on all social media platforms. Let the people get the message and know that we are together and we're working together. Thank you so much, Margaret Ejogwe, for that thumbs up. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I appreciate all Biafrans, wherever you're watching from. We're one. We're working towards but be watchful because the enemies are within us. You remember the crops, the weeds coming amongst the crops, and all of that. So know that. Watch your back. Don't get yourself loose. They try to know where I am. They want to track me. They want to know where I am. They want to send their people to come and kidnap me and all of that. They can never get any information from me. And whatever they do will go down to them and to come to their head. That's what I'm saying. So those of you who are trying to track me, they know themselves. We're trying to get where I am, where he is, and we're going to track him. They want to call me to lure me with business, come to this place and all of that, and all of that. Let's talk. And we have these people want to invest in this place. We want to have this. Forget it. You can't get me because Chukwokike is with me. I'm standing on the truth. You won't get me. So keep doing all those your stuff. Send your militias and your killers everywhere to get me, and you can't get me. So forget about all those tactics. We know you. I know you. I know you very well. When you are telling me, I know. So I know you. For the fact that I've not been talking about it, doesn't mean I don't know what you are up to. So I know you very well. So you won't get, and you cannot do anything to Simon Ekpa. Those of you who are trying to hunt him, who are trying to kill him, those of you who are, and many people plotting and trying to hand him over to the Nigerian government, you can't get him because he's on a mission. He's on the mission of God, and he is, everyone, please exhaust your thoughts on this issue. Please, don't discuss it again. Yeah, John Ahmed, I wouldn't discuss it again. So please, you guys have to understand that Simon Ekpa is on a mission. You can get him. You can, if you like, penetrate him and all of that. We know, of course, we have to be guided. We have to make sure that we don't allow you to succeed. But at the same time, no matter what you do, you can never stop the Biafra from coming. So we all will get our freedom. Thank you so much, all. Biafra is ours. Biafra is our collective responsibility. Guide it with all diligence, sincerity, integrity, transparency, focus, consistency, and truth, as Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have said. The only way you can help Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, is to preserve the truth and to speak out when you see evil. That's the only way you defend Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's legacy. That's the truth. Thank you so much, Elisa. I say we know Nigerians very well. Yes, that's it, my brother. We know them very well. All hail Biafra. Thank you. IRS for that final message. Thank you all. I love you all. Tomorrow I'll come your way again. God bless you. Very good. We stand strong. We stand together. Margaret Jogwe says they are murderers. Elisa says yes, they are. Definitely, they are just trying to track me and try to. We still stand strongly for no election in Biafra land. Period. Yes, that's what we stand for, and that's what is going to happen. We have a few days to go, 19 days to end Nigeria and get to our promise. Thank you so much, all. I appreciate you. Tomorrow again, we'll be here, and we shall be talking more of the issues that concerns us and our role to play in this. Thank you all. I love you all from the depth of my heart, and I'll continue to do this service of Biafra for your sake, for my sake, for all of us. And I'll keep standing on the truth. I keep promising it. I keep saying it always and promising to stand on the truth. Let this video be the testimony or testify against me when I go against the truth. Thank you all. I love you all, and God bless you very good.